Hello and welcome, Spartan fans, to the Coach Donny Holcomb Coaches Show. I am the host, Rob Cawthorn, and as always, joined by the head coach, Donny Holcomb. Coach, good to see you.
Good to be back with you, Rob.
Awesome. Going to talk a little bit here about Lakeville North, but first, as always, we just want to let everybody know how you can get a hold of us, help us, all sorts of different ways. If you want to subscribe, go onto our YouTube channel. It's the Mayo Spartan Warriors YouTube channel. If you want to help us as far as making some sort of financial donation to help the football team, you're going to see our forgiving link there on the website, as well as you can email us at the email address there on the link that you see there at the SpartanTDClub@gmail.com. So there's plenty of ways to get a hold of us, plenty of ways to help us. This week's sponsor, we were fortunate enough just to kind of be at one of the younger age games and had a parent who's on the team, Dr. Katie Post. She came up to us and said, hey, you know what, we would be, the folks of us here at Northwest Dental would be more than happy to do one of the weeks. So this week's sponsor is Northwest Dental and Dr. Katie Post there at Northwest Dental. She's, like I said, she's a mom in the program, and they've been extremely supportive of Mayo football. Another business that helped donate to make sure that the tunnel, we were able to do the tunnel. So appreciate all the support. You can go to their website, which is www.northwestdentalgroup.com, or you can call them at 507-203-2332. So we really appreciate all of their help and support over the years for the Mayo football program. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about Lakeville North. And you know what? Once again, throughout this year, we've kind of used a lot of these words. You know, I wrote some of them down throughout the year: toughness, tight bond, hardworking, proud of the kids, close-knit group, friendship, to describe some of the teams, or describe the team this year. And after the North game, I kind of want to throw one out at you that came to my mind, and that was resilient.
I thought the words you were going to say were, "Here we go again," or something like that.
Do we got to talk about the same stuff again? Yeah. No, resilient is the word that came to my mind after, being at the game and then watching it back again, through, on Huddle. And just kind of, once again, there's plenty of opportunities there for them just to say, you know what, it's just not our game. We're playing the number one team in the state. So, we put in a valiant effort, but it just didn't work out. But definitely resilient through that. So talk a little bit about the resilient, using that word, the resiliency you've seen from this team week after week.
People always ask how they're doing and how they're going to come back, and I don't know. I mean, like you lost the state championship, and they're heartbroken. Like, I think the reason why it doesn't apply is they're leaving everything out there. They have no regrets. I mean, they're giving everything they possibly can and having fun doing it and coming very close to winning 3 more games than where they're at. So I think that keeps them hungry to keep coming back to get what they know they're missing out on by a tiny little margin, and they're hungry.
That's awesome. Yeah. And and once again, you almost see it on a play-by-play basis. I mean, there's times where, whether it's offensively or defensively, they made a mistake or something happened, didn't quite go their way. And man, both sides are right back in the huddle, just, ready to try to rectify that mistake. So you can almost see it on a play-by-play basis. Well, defensively, no doubt, one of the best, if not the best game so far for the defense this year. Just seemed to have North kind of out of what they wanted to do game plan wise, which was, try to, ground and pound and establish that. And our defense proved that, you're not going to push us around. And so North kind of had to go and get out of that game plan. So, each week, I think you started to see progressions from the defense, starting to move towards this direction as we've kind of talked about that. But talk about how happy you are with the play, of the defense, during that North game.
Tremendous. I mean, just for them to be able to comprehend what Coach Gunnar Grimsrud put out there all week and keep to their keys and what they, worked on in a short amount of time, and then just play with heart, play with passion, and play physical. And they did it for the entire game. So it was, I mean, they still made mistakes. Like, I told our coaching staff we have 10 goals that we look at offensively, defensively, and special teams. We met none of them on defense. So, I mean, there's plenty of room to improve, but they played, like you said, tremendously better than in the past, and that's a confidence builder.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now, offensively, this game, the offense was probably the most tested, they've been so far. They had some times where they just weren't in sync moving the ball, and whether that was because North was doing something to put pressure, or, whether it could have been the radar defense, kind of making things a little bit difficult at some point in time offensively. So when those struggles happen, for an offense and you just know you're not moving the ball as well as you would like, it's easy for especially high school players to get frustrated, whether the helmet comes off and, you're kind of throwing that around or whatever it might be. Did you ever feel any sort of frustration with the offense throughout the game against North?
I'd say just stalling out at, a couple different series that we had, and then not knowing why that happened until you get a chance after the game to watch the film and say, okay, it wasn't as bad as you thought, or it was worse than you thought. But I thought we were a play away from, winning the game, really. And then once we got ourselves into, I think it was a second down and long with a penalty, and then it turned into a third down and long because we had a busted play on second down with the play clock going down. So we didn't have that chance to go down the field that last series, more so because of our mistakes. And it's too bad because I really think we could have, drove down the field like we have in many other games. So
yeah, and I think that's one of the things, you've talked about in the past is that, this offense seems to have the mentality every time they step on the field, we're going to score. And when they don't, it's a surprise to them, which that's a good thing. It's a good thing that they have the mentality that we're going to put the ball in the end zone. So, once again, this was kind of the first time they were tested. And like you said, I thought they responded at some point in times, and then at other times, made a few, mental mistakes here and there, but it's still at the same stance to be, like you said, be that close against a great team like Lakeville North was a compliment to how well both sides of the ball were kind of feeding off of each other. So one thing that sometimes it's hard to judge when you're watching film as a coach or a player is truly a team speed, because you just don't know the other team they're playing. Are they fast? Are they slow? So it's kind of hard to kind of judge their team speed. And that's one thing when I was watching North that kind of jumped out to me is that, especially on the defensive side of the ball, when we were doing our swing passes or, just some of our, quick screen passes out to, in a trips formation or something like that, we've had some success with those, and we've gone against teams where we can, get 5 or 6 yards if, at a minimum on some of those. But against Lakeville, it seemed like, man, they were always right there, that we just really didn't have an opportunity to bust a big win or make some of these big gains. So when you're seeing that as a coach, when you're seeing a team that, is kind of making those big plays or, coming up and kind of limiting your opportunity to make big plays, does it change the play calling at all?
The only way that it changes it is you might get that first hitch or that first slant, and then you start worrying about them because they play downhill. I mean, it's part of the defense. And, once they did that, then we'd made some adjustments off it, going a slant go, which we completed for a big gain, and, pump fake in the, if you want to call it a swing route on the side, and then going deep and complete it. So it was just kind of taking what they're going to give us and how they're going to play us, and then the kids executing. Yeah,
well, so another great effort, overall. And once again, like you've always said, it's not necessarily about the scoreboard at the end of the game. It's how the team played. And as you've said this whole year, just really haven't had a game where, this team is kind of laid down at any point in time. So once again, I know the scoreboard wasn't quite where, the kids wanted it, but, I thought that, like you said, things to build off of and get ready to go against Eden Prarie. So great game. And we'll build on, like you said, what you guys got going on so far. So Stick around. Up next, we're going to have a couple of the players that played some key roles in that Lakeville North game coming up next.
Left hash. Jet sweep, and Spartans all over that one. Proud of this program and the kind of the attitude. It's easy to get down when things don't go your way in that way. Oh, a nice cutback by Beal. Still running. He's going to find some room.
Baby.
And here is Beal. Nice block downfield as well by Noah Hagen. And into the end zone goes Beal. What a run. Didn't find room on the right side. Cut it back.
All right, welcome back, Spartan fans. We are here in the Coach Donny Holcomb show. Coach has brought a couple of the star players with him. Coach, why don't you introduce to us who we have here?
Happy to introduce two of our players here this week that had a tremendous game last week and all season. Both of them are captains. To my right is senior running back and linebacker Isaiah Beal, and to Isaiah's right is senior some of everything, linebacker, receiver. Sometimes he carries the ball as a receiver, lines up as a tight end, Joseph Boguslawski.
Guys, welcome. Now, I know you both were on the initial show, the very first one where we had all the captains, but welcome back again. So at every game, win or lose, Touchdown Club goes through and picks a player of the game. This is our first time where we have co-players of the game, so I want to give both of you your certificates there for the Lakeville North game on the player of the game. So congratulations to both of you on that honor. Since you have the microphone, we will start with you, sir. First of all, not the easiest last name, so can you give us the correct pronunciation? Because I feel like I've butchered it probably sometimes, and I don't know. But I know that for surely, like in road games, it gets definitely butchered. So can you give us the correct pronunciation?
That would be Boguslawski.
Bogus, and then La.
Lasky. See, that's why we call him Bogues.
Bogus?
Bogues.
Lasky.
Yep.
Got it. All right. So basically, start with you. Let's talk a little bit. An extremely strong game for the defense this past game against North. Probably a lot of people, are talking about, by far the best performance, for the defense, throughout the season so far. So talk to us a little bit about, as far as the defense goes, what you guys worked on in practice, what seemed to be working the week, how confident you were going into the week of the game plan that you guys were going to be able to kind of get North out of what they were comfortable doing.
Well, for sure. I mean, they're a great team. They were physical, so we had to stack the box a little bit more to kind of counter their power run. And it starts with Gunner, our D coordinator. He did a great job of scheming things up and making adjustments during the game. And it started with everybody doing their jobs. Like, everybody played a phenomenal game. They did their job. I think that led to such a strong outing against Lakeville North, our defense.
And now for you in particularly as middle linebacker, there's a lot of pre-snap reads, calls, making sure people are getting lined up in the right spots, and you got everybody, set where they need to go. Just talk a little bit about playing middle linebacker. What's your favorite part of it? What do you enjoy the most about playing that position?
I love it personally. Middle linebacker. I mean, I used to play D end, and that was fun, but I think being able to see the whole field and flow with everybody else of the offense, and then making that, just filling a gap and just hitting somebody, that's my favorite part about it. I mean, yeah, I like filling the gap. Like, yeah, that's my favorite part. Or also being able to be that leader on defense and talk with all my boys. Like, I like being that hype man for everybody. Like, I'm like, hey, huddle, hey, let's get this stop. That's probably one of my favorite parts of being middle linebacker.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great characteristic trait of typically when you see a lot of middle linebackers, they are not the usually the quietest individuals on the team. So it's great that you've taken on that vocal leadership role there. Isaiah, over to you. So I know the season's a long way from over. You guys got a lot of football still left in you. And you've had a really great season to this point. I mean, it's well documented and definitely well talked about and well deserved. Talk a little bit though. Last year ends. You start going through off season and do those kinds of stuff. Is this kind of where you envisioned your senior year being? Is where you're at now, or what did you kind of think where you're at now? Your senior year would be looking like?
I envisioned it with a little bit more wins, but we're right there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
as far as like with the running and all the accolades that come with how well you've been running the ball. But one of the things that I've noticed, and I think I've been impressed with so far this year, and maybe just didn't notice as much last year, but I mean, your ability to block in the passing game is very, very impressive. I mean, you're willing to stick your nose right in there and got a blitzer coming and pick up that blitz, and it just helps, the passing game as well. Is that something you pride yourself on? Is it something you've worked on in the offseason to become a better pass blocker?
Yeah, I work on it every single practice, the little things.
How do you, as far as like when of course everybody's got responsibilities when it comes to pass blocking and that kind of stuff. How do you know right away that, hey, this guy's going to be coming hot and I got to pick him up right away? Or are you kind of waiting to see what happens?
Most of the time I know, but then sometimes I just have to wait and see what happens.
It's a valuable thing to help an effective pass game, is to make sure that running back, and it keeps you on the field, as you progress with your career. Coaches are going to value that, and it's going to help you stay on the field as well too. So I thought that's been an awesome part. As the weeks have gone on and you guys have become more and more involved as two-way players, talk a little bit about, what that takes, not only the physical toll on your body, but also the mental toll to have that preparation to know exactly, the calls on both sides of the ball and what you're doing on both sides of the ball, and then the conditioning that you have to have in order to be able to play on both sides.
Yeah, it takes a lot on your body. Like after the game, like you're really sore and stuff, have to rehab right. And just like condition, you have to be really well conditioned to go hard at every single play to give 100% effort. So those are like the two main things: this rehab and recover fast and be conditioned.
Joe, for you?
Yeah, it definitely takes a toll on your body. Like you'll definitely feel it after, even through the week, you'll be pretty dead. But just ice and drink your water, recover, and then for staying mentally prepared, just got to keep watching film, listen to what coach has to say for this and that. But yeah, just mentally you got to stay focused. And then just got to keep taking care of your body.
Coach, you've seen both of these guys now through the program. They're, like I said, they're both, valuable two-way players, for you guys. Just talk about how important it is to have a couple leaders like this that, as far as when maybe things aren't going right, as Isaiah mentioned some of the wins and stuff like that, to have these kinds of guys to point at and say, you know what, as long as we're preparing and working as hard as our leaders are, we're going to be all right.
Oh, yeah, they're tremendous leaders and examples for the rest of the team because they chose to get into that role. They were guys that before they were captains, they were leaders, and they built that in the off season with their commitment and example of being a multi-sport athlete and getting others involved into our program. That's something I'm really proud of both of these guys for, is bringing others into the program and helping them to feel a part of it, not just something that they have to do to be a part of it. But on the other side, like both tremendous players, they've both had 3-year careers on the varsity for us and contributed in so many different ways. And the biggest thing is, like you talked about with Isaiah's blocking, they've both shown so much growth in just 1 year. Like they decided to get really serious about this and utilize their abilities. And they're laying it all out there every week on both sides of the ball, and they're not going to have any regrets later on. I'm really proud of them for that.
All right, 10 questions here. So, Joe, we'll start with you, and then just throw the microphone over there. And would you rather have the game-winning touchdown or the game-saving tackle?
Game-saving tackle.
Game-saving touchdown.
Game-winning touchdown?
Oh, winning touchdown.
All right, your favorite all-time touchdown celebration?
Trip out Sally.
Probably the Dougie.
All right, favorite post-game meal?
Peanut butter and toast with honey.
Grilled cheese.
Sweet. Okay, do you prefer when you're getting ready for the game, are you an AirPods person or are you the over-the-ear headphone person?
I like the speakers, like blasting the speakers.
Okay, nice.
I don't listen to music besides in the locker room, but probably over the speakers like Joe said.
Okay, sweet. All right. at a game, at a home game, or it could be an away game, I guess, when a song comes on the loudspeaker at the games, do you want to start dancing? What song, when it comes on the loudspeaker, do you want to start dancing to?
I got no idea.
You don't have any song that you hear in the loudspeaker at the game? You're like, oh, that's got a good beat. Kind of. You guys don't even want to jump around when you hear jump around or anything like that?
I'll tell you what.
I can't even hear the music on the field.
Oh, really?
So locked in. I don't really pay attention.
Tomorrow morning at weights, I'll video them.
Yeah.
And there'll be a song playing. And then I'll answer it.
I live through me dance.
All right, sweet. All right, would you rather play football in a snowstorm or in a heat wave?
Snowstorm.
Heat wave.
Okay. Or would you prefer to ride jet skis or a pontoon boat?
Jet skis.
Yeah, jet skis. Yeah.
Can tell your age. Would you rather start school at noon or be done with school by noon?
Done with school by noon.
Yeah, done by school at noon. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
Done, okay. Would you rather be smart or funny?
Funny.
Yeah, funny.
Okay. And then last one. Give me a player on the team that will eventually run for some sort of political office.
Max Durgan.
Damian Smith.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too.
Awesome. Well, guys, Isaiah, Joe, thanks for stopping in again, guys. Just an awesome season the two of you are having. Once again, can't thank you enough for your leadership on the team. Stay healthy, and let's go get one against Eden Prarie on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, stick around. We will be right back, and we got some members of the Mayo cheer team to talk to.
Hagen, Durgan, and Sheehan to the right of Peterson. Peterson's going to move to his left, has some room, and then throws downfield. Caught by Canfield, first down. That's a nice pickup of about 25 yards.
Yeah, very nice play. He's looking to run, and then he saw Canfield break free.
All right, welcome back, Spartan fans, here on the Coach Donny Holcomb Show. We want to thank Joe Bogoslawski and Isaiah Beal for stopping by and talking with us. Now we have some more special guests here. We have Coach Stephanie Schmidt. She's the head coach of our cheer team to introduce some of the cheerleaders for the Mayo cheer team. Coach Schmidt, who did you bring with you today?
I brought 3 of our captains. I have Janaea, Emma, and Emerson.
Well, welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you. I reached out to Coach Schmidt because I just wanted to, the cheer team's now been around for a few years, and so just kind of wanted to get to know a little bit more about what goes on with the Mayo cheer team. So this is open for everyone. Just grab the mic, pass it down. So just like any other activity, there's practices, there's getting ready, there's all that kind of stuff. Walk people through what a week on the cheer team looks like for you guys, from after school to getting ready for the game and that kind of stuff.
On a regular game day after school, just like the football players, we're going to be wearing our cheer uniform to school to show our school spirit. And after school, we're going to show up to the game an hour to 2 hours before, start warming up all of our stunts, hang up all the signs that we made, all the signs in the student section, we make those. And we get our team all ready for the game and try to get all the students hype.
And then for practices throughout the week, before homecoming, we usually have practice every single night for like 2 to 3 hours, usually just to build our routine. But then also we practice for games. We go over game day spots, and then we do any stunts and any cheers that we want to do. We have a list of 40 chants, so we go over those throughout the summer and then also throughout the weeks. Yeah, and it's just a lot of fun just to get together with everybody after school.
If you guys could each just explain, how did you go about deciding you wanted to be part of cheer and getting involved with it?
Okay, so I've been in cheerleading since I was about 9 years old. I've been a competitive cheerleader. So I decided to join the cheer team 2 years ago because I loved cheerleading already so much, and I was like, might as well just do another team. And I love the Mayo cheer team so much. It's so fun, and I love having all my friends on it. So.
I used to do cheer when I was little. I did it through Cheer America, so it was like not as competitive as extreme cheer, but it was still like small competitions in Minnesota. And then I stopped doing cheer when I got to like middle school, and then my freshman year, I didn't really know what I wanted to do at Mayo. I knew I wanted to be involved in something, but I didn't really know what. And then I had a friend in my Spanish class who was on the cheer team, and she encouraged me to try out, and then I tried out and I made it, and I just love it so much. It's such a good community.
When I was little, I did gymnastics, and all throughout when I was little. So I wanted to join another activity in high school that I could still be active, but still wear cute outfits and do my tumbling and get to just hang out with friends and build more of a community.
So each of you kind of explain a little bit about like what are some of the added things and responsibilities that Coach Schmidt has asked you guys to do as captains, or what are some things that like a cheer captain is expected to do?
One of the biggest things we do is at the games we're calling the chants. So from that list of 40 chants we go through, if we're on defense or offense, we pick which one to do. We call it out to the entire team, and then we make sure that everybody's starting on the right time and that everybody knows the motions.
We're also, obviously the cheer team, we have to be really good role models for the school, but we have to be extra like good role models to like show our team that like we can handle the role of being a captain.
I think also being a captain, it's very important to be inclusive with everybody and be able to give everyone a chance to feel like they have someone they can talk to and feel comfortable with. Any questions, or if a girl needs extra help, hey, I don't know how to do this, captains are a great person to go talk to them.
That's great. Last question for you guys. So I know you go to both the home games, of course, but then also get to, luckily travel to the road games. So tell everybody just, the obvious difference, you're not at Mayo, but what's it like going to a road game versus being able to cheer at a home game?
I think the difference is your ability to watch the game that's happening and be able to cheer and compensate if you're not at home and give the players the support that they need. And when you're at home, you have all the extra cheering and everything like that. So when you're away, you don't have that, and you just want to make sure to keep everybody's energy up.
Yeah, one of the biggest differences is like the student section, because the student section obviously is a lot smaller at away games, and we're mainly just cheering for like the families and the parents, but we still want to be just as loud, sometimes even louder, because we want to make sure that we're still showing that spirit and cheering our team on.
Yeah, usually at away games, it's like the same like student section that's always there. So we've almost like I've gotten like comfortable with them there. So when we're at home games, it's like so many more people, and it's like a lot harder to get the crowd involved. But at away games, it's like the crowd is always involved because it's like they like enjoy being there. So it's more fun. Yes. We love the bus. We play music. We all like get ready together. We all usually get food, and we all like I'm in charge of the music, and it's very fun. And everyone just like jams out. We all do each other's hair, and like some people do each other's makeup. It's so fun.
So Coach Schmidt, this question's for you. So I know you kind of started the program again a few years ago after it hadn't been there at Mayo for several years. So talk a little bit about that decision on why you chose to do that, but then also talk about how you've seen some growth in the program over these last few years.
Well, I had a daughter who started cheering really young as well and was on the same Minnesota Extreme team that Emerson was on. And I cheered at Mayo, and I knew she was coming to Mayo, and I wanted to make sure there was a program there for her to continue cheering. So that was one of the main reasons. I was like, I got to bring this back. And I had started going to some of the games again and noticed, like, there just wasn't a ton of school spirit. So I started going, and it took about 3 years convincing Whitney to finally let me can I please just have a tryout? And he had me go to, I don't know if it was a homecoming game or one of the games before I started, and literally have a sign-up sheet at the door of the entryway of the football games to try to recruit girls as they would come in and be like, would you ever do cheer if we had a cheer team here? And I had to bring him the list of people I had sign up with the emails and take it to his office. He was like, fine, I'll let you do a tryout. So we finally did. In the first year, I think we had like 30 or 40 girls come in, and I was just like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And then, this year we had close to 60 girls that came to try out, and it's the 6 years I've been coaching, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and more interest, and would love to have a winter team again for hockey and basketball and all the winter sports, because there used to be.
Yeah.
But, it's tough because we don't have budget and all the things, but I would love to get to that point, and even a competition team in the winter would be super fun because we used to have that too, and travel around to other high schools and compete, but I don't know if we'll get there or not. But it's really grown. So
that's awesome. You've done a great job. And if students are interested in, doing this or being, part of the cheer team, what do they need to do to be involved?
So the main thing is to watch our Instagram page, I would say, to find out when tryouts are. They're usually in April or May. And I think we post them also on our team site through the school, and just talk to some of the girls. If they know anybody that's currently on the team, start talking to them and find out what they need to learn, what they need to know, go to a game, watch and see what they do. And because it's hard to get on the team when there's 60 some, I can't say girls anymore because we have our first guy this year.
Yeah.
I love it. I've wanted to have a guy on the team every year. But they need to kind of be prepared, know they're tumbling and know what they're doing. And
What is the Instagram page?
it's Mayo Cheer Team, right? Yeah. Yep, Mayo Cheer Team. We post all of our, our stunts and our cheers and the school song and tryout information and all of that on there. So if they're following that, then they should
They'll
be in the know.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, we really appreciate you guys stopping by, talking with us. And sometimes I'm going to give you a little insight that sometimes 16 to 18-year-old young men might not come up and tell you thank you or that they appreciate it, but you can take it from me. It is very much appreciated, the work and what it is that you guys, do to get ready for every home game, just like it is the work and that they put in too. So we really appreciate it. I've been around the program for a long, long time and definitely have seen, a difference since, the cheers come back. So thank you so much for all the time and work and effort that you guys put in. Thanks for stopping.
Thank you so much.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back to talk about the upcoming game against Eden Prarie.
With Forsgren in motion, rolls out. Good pursuit, and here's a sack by Lincoln Majerus. Got there first. Casey Kramer joined. And that's a big stop for the Spartans.
Yeah, 3rd down and 22.
All right, welcome back, Spartan fans. We are here with Coach Donny Holcomb. Want to thank Steph Schmidt and the Mayo Cheer Club for stopping in and talking to us. And, Coach, I know we were limited on our seats, so you weren't able to kind of jump in there. But just quickly, just maybe talk a little bit about, you've been around the Mayo football program a long time when there wasn't the cheer team, and then Coach Schmidt was able to bring that back. Just talk a little bit about, just from your perspective, I know it's hard for you to notice it during a game and stuff like that, but what have you thought how that's made an impact on the program?
Well, I have so much respect for Coach Schmidt because of her passion for the sport and just the story behind her pushing to get a team back, and just it's hard not to notice them because they do so much. I mean, we're out there during the summer training, they're out there training, we're out practicing, they're out practicing, and there's a lot of pride in what they're doing, and I definitely know that it's improved the school spirit as well.
That's great. Yeah, and so once again, we just thank them for stopping by and taking the time to inform us about the Spartan cheer team. So moving on, let's talk a little bit about the Week 7 opponent, Eden Prarie. Last home game, senior night. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, there's always, it's an emotional night. Definitely for parents and players, that's involved with. We've both gone through it. We've both had seniors through that night. But just talk a little bit about how special senior night is for these kids that are going to be participating in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to celebrate both them and their parents. And we talk about that, the sacrifices that parents and family make for kids to do sports and be able to learn the lessons and the friendships in it. So at the same time, we celebrate the guys that are seniors. And for this group, it's even going to be a little unique because if you think about it, they did their varsity career 6A. Mm-hmm. They're the only kids ever to do that, solely 6A. So they had a very eventful, tough, varsity career, and we're going to celebrate the heck out of that, and hopefully in more ways than one. Awesome.
Yeah, it's great everything that you guys do for those families to be recognized this coming up Friday night. Welcoming Eden Prarie to town, so it's like, let's just go from Lakeville North to Eden Prarie. Okay, let's just do that. It sounds like a great idea. And once again, I mean, we both know, I mean, the history behind the program, Eden Prarie's program, all the success they've had. Might not necessarily be where they want to be this year, but the new polls just came back out today, and actually they cracked again the top 10. The only 3-loss team that's in the top 10. So that, that says a lot about what people think of that program and how that program has, just had such tremendous success. So, what an opportunity once again, for these boys, like you said, to go up against a team like Eden Prarie, another, top 10 team in the state, for senior night. And, but talk a little bit about how, that adds a little bit to kind of the, I don't want to say the allure or any of that kind of stuff, but it's still just everybody knows who they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody knows who Eden Prarie is. So just talk a little bit about, is that something you guys talk about during the week? Do you ignore it? How does that work when you kind of have like a historic program like Eden Prarie coming in?
This is an opportunity. I mean, I don't know that Mayo's ever played Eden Prarie at Mayo. I think they played in a state tournament. I could be off. I think they did. I think Eden Prarie won, if I remember right. But I don't think ever at Mayo, and I definitely tell our kids it's a historic program in Minnesota with a lot of backing to it, and I believe 8 state championships and 1 runner-up in I don't know how many years. So yeah, we definitely talk about it, and it's an opportunity for our kids to be able to play against them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Looking at them, on both sides of the ball, we'll start offensively. Maybe, definitely from the years past, Coach Grant's definitely wanted to do the ground and pound, kind of game and kind of just, use their will to kind of march their way down the field. When you watch them on film, not necessarily quite as much as probably in the past as they're doing this year, and probably personnel dictates a little bit of that. But still, that's where they want to do, and if they're capable of doing it, they're going to do it. And to me, a lot of it kind of hinges around number 7. He looks like he's a very physical running back, but also has speed once he can get into the open field. So once again, another running test for your defense. What are some things when you guys were watching film that jumped at you about their offense?
They're big. They're big. They're big boys on the line. This is probably the biggest all-around offensive line I think we've seen. And like you said, they run the stuff that they run, and they do it really well. And why go to 4 receivers when you have a huge line and you can run behind him? It's strategy. So it's going to force us to be, like every week, very disciplined and to be able to play downhill and take on lead blockers and spill it where we're trying to spill it to so somebody else can clean it up. But it's a great test for our guys.
Yeah, I know. Now, defensively, kind of the same thing. Watching film, you see a few things, and, once again, sometimes we've talked about it. It's hard to tell, personnel-wise, maybe what they're going to do because they might do one thing against one team and a different thing against a different team. But they definitely have somebody that stands out, that number 9, that appears to be more on the edge most times when he's coming. But fast, strong. He also looks like kind of like almost like a fullback on their offense when they need it. I noticed in that game against Minnetonka that he would line up in the wing, kind of come in motion, and then just stop as soon as they height. And he was, leading up that
He's
hole.
A big dude.
They ran that same play like 4 times. So yeah, he definitely jumps out, on film as somebody that can cause some problems for them on their defense. But when you look at their defense as a whole, you guys scouting it, what else kind of jumped out to you guys?
I mean, like you said, their defensive line is big, and that number 9, I thought last year was the best defensive lineman I'd seen all year in the 6A, and he was only a sophomore last year, so he's very talented. Linebacker-wise, they're aggressive as they were last year. And defensively with their backfield, I don't think they see as much of a passing game throughout the year. So, they're going to play more of a cover 3 and a quarters look is what it appears. So we'll see. And we're just going to look for where our weakness is and what we do well and give it our best shot.
Yeah. When you look at, that Minnetonka game, of course, a lot of people are calling it an upset because of where Minnetonka was ranked and where Eden Prarie was, but, don't necessarily know if I agree with officially calling it an upset. So what was interesting, though, is they had rolled out their kicker a couple times in the game. He missed his first field goal that he tried, and then also missed an extra point. And so now they go into overtime, and Minnetonka, misses their extra point. Eden Prarie comes out and scores, and now all of a sudden, here you are. You got to make the decision. Do I put a kicker back out there that hasn't made a kick all game long? And sure enough, the kid comes out and makes the extra point, and Eden Prarie wins the game. So just another great example of how special teams, definitely play, a role in these outcomes of these games. But, talk about sometimes, your decision making during some of these critical times with special teams and how they kind of impact some of your thinking.
Who knows? Sometimes I don't even know what we should do because we do something either really poorly and I'm afraid of giving up something big, or, because honestly, if we don't cover a kickoff, why should we kick it deep if it's not going to go in the end zone when we can onside kick and get it in the same spot but have an opportunity to recover it or bloop it? So it's basically on what our skill level is and confidence level, at the time. And we did a decent job on kickoff this last game, which, you kind of hold your breath the first one and then you're like, all right, this is going to work. Let's do it again. So, we have a base, scheme for every special team, and we also have a backup in case we need to mix things up, which we already have. But it can be a scary thing.
Yeah, I think most head coaches throughout football would agree that sometimes you just keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best. So, well, Coach, best of luck this week. Like I said, I think it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Congrats to all the seniors that are going to be celebrating senior night this Friday. Well-earned celebration for this group of the class of 2025 seniors on the Mayo football team. What's the lower levels looking like this week, Coach?
Lower levels, we have 7th grade in Roch versus Austin, and the 8th grade is in Austin. And then we have our 9th and 10th grade at Eden Prarie on Thursday. And who am I missing here?
That would be it. 7th, 8th.
It's everybody, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So once again, I want to thank Dr. Katie Post and the group from Northwest Dental Group for sponsoring this week. We appreciate their support. Once again, you can go to their website at www.northwestdentalgroup.com or give them a call at 203-2332. So can't thank them enough for their support this week. So on behalf of head coach Donny Holcomb, the main man Bodie behind the camera there, I am the host Rob Cawthorn. Thanks again for joining us on the Coach Donny Holcomb Coaches Show. Go Spartans.
Hands up.